Good evening. It was the fall of 2012 when I began having regular sightings of a young man new to Asbury's Kentucky campus. The guy was hard to miss largely because of a singular and distinguishing feature. He wore what appeared to me to be a pillowcase on his head. That spring, the young man was enrolled in my Greek 1 class, and I learned the contents of that pillowcase, only it wasn't a pillowcase, it was a sort of a stocking cap. And in that cap was hair. Lots of hair. Miles and miles of blonde, dreadlocked hair. Casting aside all suspicions, I began to appreciate the young man's propensity to absorb Greek grammar and vocabulary and to find joy in doing so. With the help of his wife, he produced a video in which the two of them recited the Greek alphabet to rap music. The video quickly became a cult classic among the student body and continues to live in seminary lore today. Tonight, more than 10 years later, that young man has finished his master's degree. He's moved his family to the United Kingdom, finished a doctoral program, moved his family back to the U.S., and he now stands ready to sit for his viva in just about a week. He is none other than our very own Johnathan Crabtree. What I love about Johnathan, among so many things, is his Da Vincian ability to work across multiple disciplines, whether that's articulating theological propositions clearly and compellingly, or helping a senior John Wesley fellow learn to navigate urban transit. Josh Tepper knows what I'm talking about there. Or doing the gritty work of ministry in the trenches with the least, the last, and the lost. Johnathan is an enigma, and I love him so very much for that. In so many ways, he reminds me of a first-century Galilean who also defied conventions, and in so doing brought life and light to a world living in darkness. I think Johnathan is that kind of a guy, and I'm so thankful that he's not just on our team, but that he's my friend. He epitomizes the Wesleyan distinctive of having a mind for the tower and boots for the ground. This world is brighter because of the light that shines in and through him, and he is a credit to the John Wesley Fellows. Congratulations, Johnathan.
Thank you. Next, Kenneth Lawyer is not obviously here. He sends his greetings to you all, and I will convey what he wrote. I have thoroughly enjoyed serving as mentor to Dylan Ziegler in his PhD study at Trinity College, University of Toronto. Dylan is making substantial progress toward the completion of his degree and is writing his dissertation on Kierkegaard and Wittgenstein. He is also gathering valuable experience as a book review editor for the Toronto Journal of Theology. This work helps him stay informed about notable publications in biblical studies as well as historical, systemic, and pastoral theology. In addition to his scholarly pursuits, Dylan serves on staff in youth ministry in his local church. He takes seriously the importance of spiritual formation. He has a passion for teaching the Christian faith, passing it on to others, and thinking carefully about the relationship between the faith we profess and the lives we live. He is considering ordination as he discerns where God's calling is taking him. Dylan and his wife, Amy, have a young daughter, Quinn. One of the great joys of this season of his life for Dylan is to be able to watch Quinn when Amy works as a therapist. Always thinking theologically, he even finds connections between the children's songs his daughter sings and our task of learning to speak with God. Our conversations of the years have related to plans for comprehensive exams and the dissertation, the intersection of the church and the academy, God's work of theological renewal and our part in that work, and vocational discernment for faithful leadership and service in the name of Jesus Christ. I am both impressed by the grateful for Dylan's deep commitment to academic rigor and the vibrant spiritual life of the church. I am confident that the Holy Spirit will continue to direct Dylan's future in ways that contribute meaningfully to theological formation and renewal for the advancement of God's kingdom in his life and the lives of those he serves. Congratulations, Dylan, and God's richest blessings upon you and your family. Dylan, will you please come up? That was a mouthful, a long dissertation there. Next is Rankin back in here. There you are. Would you come up, Steve? You were expecting this, right? No. Really? Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Will you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I have been the mentor to Jerry Kulah. And I have laughed many times to myself about mentoring Jerry, because the question is, who is mentoring whom? Some years before Jerry became a fellow, he was in the United States, and Joni and I were in Dallas still at that time, and Jerry came and stayed with us a couple of days while he was making connections and doing things. And I just want to say, I learned something of Jerry's background and his experience. For example, going through Civil War. And I don't want to say more than I should because I didn't get his permission to say any of this, but I felt like kind of a spiritual child listening to him share his story. And if you've gotten to know Jerry, you know that he is fiercely courageous. And he loves Jesus Christ. And while working in the, sort of that part-time system in British education, traveling back and forth to the UK and, from Liberia, working on a PhD in missiology, with a vision for resourcing African Christians so that they don't have to depend on Western money. Multidisciplinary, running a university in Liberia, the United Methodist University of Liberia, while he's doing his PhD work, while serving in the United Methodist Church as a delegate to General Conference and dealing with all the struggles of that situation, and most of us in this room are aware of that. Jerry is set to finish his PhD this next year. And again, I'm amazed that he's on track to finish. When I think about trying to get through my PhD with my little piddly little things, I hope you can tell this is a real heartfelt, it may not be the most eloquent, Brad Johnson, you could have warned us. But honestly now, heartfelt admiration, respect for our brother, Jerry Kulah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Does he need to open this now?
They all, kind of a different protocol I'm doing is I'm asking them what they would like and what would be meaningful for them to take from AFTI. So everything that you see that they've kind of had their request in has the AFD logo or something that will forever be on their hearts, hopefully. That was my intention. So yes, definitely have them open it whenever you have time. So we have one more left, and you'll have to listen to me read again because another, obviously Jack Jackson was here, but he sends his regrets that he was not able to make it for this. And so he would like to share with all of us. Hello, friends. I want to take a moment to celebrate Debbie Wong and her journey through the PH program at Duke. I was very happy to finally meet Debbie in person at this year's Christmas conference. We've talked on the phone throughout her studies, but this was the first time to meet her in person. Her work focuses on the intersection of worship practice, theology, and contemporary and charismatic expressions of praise and worship. Debbie's dissertation brings the ancient theological insights of St. Augustine into conversation with modern critiques of contemporary praise and worship in order to suggest that contemporary praise and worship is uniquely capable of developing worshipers' orthopathy, contributing to the important but often overlooked aspect of the emotions in liturgical spiritual formation. Debbie has made many friendships throughout her studies, and with this fellowship, indeed, the relationships and opportunities that have come through AFD have been a blessing to her academic journey. With all of you, I celebrate her accomplishments, give thanks to our risen Christ for her calling, and look forward to seeing how the Spirit will continue to work through her life and ministry in the unfolding years. Congratulations, Debbie. All those big words for an undergrad here, you know? Thanks for bearing with me. I do want to say a couple thank yous. I know I shared with a few of you the mini-me running around here is my son, Caden, and I want to share with you, hopefully you all have gotten to look at our website a little bit more, johnwesleyfellows.org. We recreated it last year before, and he has spent quite a bit of time with the videos, the articles, the featured fellows. So we'll be continuing to update it, and any input that you have on it, it's your website. I would love that. We're trying to implement a little bit more prayer, different aspects of it. We will obviously share all of these videos back on there again this year. So please know he had to leave, but that he is a big part on that website. I would also like the two ladies in the back to stand. We couldn't have done this without you, Sherry and Stacy. Wonderful, wonderful women of Christ that have retired now from the Woodlands Methodist Church, but they have left a wonderful mark on our missions service at the Woodlands Methodist Church. The other person, when you see Holly running around here, obviously David Fleming, David Capes, you've met both of them, but Holly Johnson and her husband Brent, who does a lot of the media and all of this, and also Travis. Travis is still around. Thank you so much. It went very smoothly with the overhead service. Last thing before Steve gets on, we will be going over to worship at 7:30. I've kind of lost track of time for about an hour again. And then we will come back here to just finish with dessert, coffee, and just a time of just fellowship. So again, tomorrow we'll be back here, starting over at worship. Okay, thank you.
And my guess is you'll want to thank Carrie for her work on all the different logistics and different things that she's worked on. Now, what you may not know is that Carrie is also working on her master's degree at Truett Seminary and has a paper that's due this week. So So Todd, if you'll just let her have a pass on that, let's go ahead and give her an A. Just, you know what she's been doing. This is worth a little bit. That'll be great. So, yeah, she's getting some support on that. So last thing we want to just say before we move over to the chapel for our worship time with Porter's Gate and team is two things. One is you just heard some of the words, both live and read, from mentors. One of the real important secret sauces of the fellowship is the mentor program. Ken Lawyer is the fellow who kind of coordinates all of the mentor program. We need you all to step up and be mentors. And so if you would be willing to do that, if you'd let Carrie know, we kind of, as we select new fellows, we try to get good matches and get people matched up with new funded fellows. And sometimes a mentor doesn't work out with a funded fellow. It's just not a good match, or life circumstances change, and we need people to step in and do that. And so if you'd be willing to be a mentor, that's a really important way you can continue to serve. We just ask that you touch base 3 or 4 times a year, and then to come to Christmas conference when you can and connect with the person that you're in mentor relationship with. So that's an important thing. The second thing I want to say is it's that time of year when we're trying to get people to that need to apply for a fellowship to apply. So we find our best applicants from the people that you know. So be thinking about people who should be applying for one of the John Wesley fellowships. And one of the great things about some of the grants that we've received recently is that gives us the secure funding to be able to award fellowships each year, while allowing us then to use some of our program money to do some of the kind of creative things like our grants program and other kinds of things. So we really want to encourage and just continue to seek out the right kind of matches. And one of the great things as we think about sort of the pan-Wesleyan family is to really identify. And so there'll be some things that we'll do to kind of get the word out a little bit more broadly. But we need you really to be the ones to identify people. So keep working at doing that. So it's time we can move over to the chapel. And then at the end of that time, as Carrie said, we'll come back over here for dessert and just a relaxed time of fellowship together. So let's move back over to the chapel.